This afternoon, Ben Smith arrives on the Gold Coast, where the decorated former soldier, now accused war criminal, plans to live while he awaits trial. Iran reopens the Strait of Hormuz, but for how long as the US holds firm on its blockade? Anzac graves destroyed in Gaza. A veteran's family demands answers from Israel. And blink and they're gone. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle take flight after their controversial trip down under.
This is 7 News with Hugh Whitfeld.
Good afternoon. Ben Smith has arrived home to Queensland, the accused war criminal driving overnight after he was released on bail from a Sydney jail nearly 24 hours ago. Live to Declan Milton on the Gold Coast this afternoon. Declan, he'll be living there as he awaits trial.
Yeah, after making that long trip up the M1 from Sydney, Hugh, in the last few hours we have seen Ben Smith arrive at the registered address he made with police on the Gold Coast. His parents also arriving some time earlier. To awaiting media, he only wound his window down ever so slightly to tell a news cameraman that he was on private property. New South Wales courts have suppressed media from telling you from where he is, even what suburb he's living in. After leaving Silverwater Prison in Sydney last night, it became quite quickly apparent that Smith, along with his girlfriend, had chosen to drive up to Queensland. Australia's most decorated living soldier is facing 5 counts of war crime murder. A $250,000 surety has been put up as a guarantee he will follow strict bail conditions. He's already turned in his passport. He has one approved device. He cannot access any encrypted messaging apps and has to report to police 3 times a week. He will likely have to follow those conditions for quite a long period of time. The magistrate yesterday in Sydney even acknowledging it could be years before this case reaches trial, if it ever gets to that stage. Ben Smith's first reporting day at a police station is Monday. Hugh?
Declan Milton on the Gold Coast. Thank you. Iran says it has completely reopened the Strait of Hormuz as Tehran and Washington prepare for fresh peace talks and a 10-day ceasefire takes hold between Lebanon and Israel. But as US correspondent Rob Scott explains, the announcement is not without conditions.
Iran's announcement that the strait was open for business came as a welcome shock to the world, but there were strings attached. Iran says it only applies to commercial vessels that have to get approval from its forces to transit first, and then they have to follow a specific route. Tehran also declaring it'll shut the critical waterway down again if the United States doesn't end its blockade of its ports. But Donald Trump says his troops are staying put until a peace deal is signed, hinting that may not be far off.
Talks are going on. It'll go on over the weekend, and a lot of good things are happening. I don't think there's too many significant differences.
The president says Iran has agreed to all of his demands, including ending its nuclear program and handing over its stockpile of enriched uranium.
We're going to go in together with Iran. We're going to get it, and we're going to take it back home to the USA. Very simple.
Iran says that's untrue and isn't even up for discussion. But news of the reopening of the strait sent financial markets soaring and the price of oil tumbling, down almost 12% today to about $83 a barrel. Shipping companies are relieved but cautious, still weighing up the risks before sending in their tankers.
While the strait is open, in quote marks, freedom of navigation, as we'd commonly understand it, is yet to be seen, and it may be a few brave first leaders there testing what this new regime of transit looks like.
Key to the reopening of the strait was the 10-day ceasefire agreed to between Israel and Lebanon, a fragile agreement that is holding as people now begin to return to what's left of their homes after devastating Israeli attacks. Donald Trump says the deal he's negotiating with Iran isn't tied to Lebanon, but he'll work to end that fight too. Posting on social media, Israel will not be bombing Lebanon any longer. They are prohibited from doing so by the USA. Enough is enough. An order that's said to have caught Benjamin Netanyahu off guard, who has already said he's not finished with Lebanon yet.
Rob Scott. Australia may offer one of its wedge-tail early warning aircraft to help keep the Strait of Hormuz open. Live to National Security Editor Tim Lester in Canberra. Tim, this was hinted at by the Prime Minister after a meeting of world leaders overnight.
Yes, and Hugh, the details are likely to be fine-tuned at another meeting of leaders in the coming week in London. 3 world leaders made the trip to Paris overnight our time at the invitation of French President Macron. 45 others joined by video link, among them our Prime Minister. Apparently, leaders learned of Iran's declaration that the Strait of Hormuz was open as they met. They then emerged to respond and talk about a force to keep the strait open long term.
We welcome the announcement that was made during our meeting, but we need to make sure that that is both lasting and a workable proposal. Along with France, the UK will lead a multinational mission to protect freedom of navigation as soon as conditions allow.
Australia remains, of course, prepared to provide assistance. In London, there'll be discussion about what assets might be required. For example, we already have the E7 there.
The government has also announced today that Australia now has 46 days of petrol in reserve. That is 8 days more than just a week ago. Diesel, critical for transport and farming, unchanged at 31 days, and jet fuel at 30 days, improving by 2 days. Don't read too much into that leap in petrol, Hugh, as apparently it's just an increased number of tankers happened to arrive in the last week.
OK, Tim Lester in Canberra, thank you. A string of violent attacks has rocked Sydney overnight, sparking fears of an escalating gangland war. Rival groups claim to be behind 3 shootings and an arson attack. Police are warning it could only be a matter of time before someone is killed. Nick Overall reports.
This was one of the cars used as a getaway vehicle last night following the chaos across Sydney's western suburbs. 2 men ditching it here in Smithfield before attempting to flee on foot. It came after a shocking and dangerous string of gang attacks. A cafe on Irrigation Road in Maryland's firebombed by the Lone Wolves around 4 a.m. this morning. Around 2 hours earlier, a barbershop in Casula was targeted in a shooting. It's understood a single gunshot was fired into the business, sparking the retaliation which followed. Just after 7:30 a.m, a home on Fairmount Street in Marylands was targeted in another shooting.
They're shooting!
The shots ringing out less than an hour before young kids took to a nearby soccer field. Then in Guildford, more shots fired at a home on Woodstock Street. It's understood these are the properties of senior members of the Alameddine crime gang. Soon after, police spotted a black SUV travelling. Nearby, they chased the car through several streets, eventually stopping it in Smithfield, where it's understood 2 men inside attempted to walk away after changing clothes. They didn't make it far. The 17-year-old and 21-year-old arrested at a nearby home. Police today issuing a firm warning.
Their families, their associates, where they frequent, is potentially going to be targeted. They need to stop what they're doing, and they need to stop now.
Fortunately, nobody was injured at any of the scenes.
A machete attack has played out in front of horrified families at a shopping precinct in Melbourne. Diners making a run for it as a young man was set upon by a masked gang. Geordie Wright has the details.
Well, it's business as usual here in Oakley this afternoon, but last night was anything but. A group of males stormed Eaton Mall, one armed with a machete, in what police say was a targeted, planned attack on a teenager. The 18-year-old was dining outside a popular restaurant and dessert bar when the group confronted him before launching a brutal assault in front of horrified diners. Some were so frightened they ducked for cover under tables. Young children were bundled up by parents running for safety. The victim was slashed across the face, bleeding heavily. He was taken inside the restaurant until paramedics arrived and transported to hospital in a serious but stable condition. A second boy, aged 16, was also caught up in the ambush and assaulted. The attackers fled the scene, the main offender still with weapon in hand.
Yes, I've seen that footage and it's quite confronting. But Victoria Police have worked incredibly hard with government support to address knife crime. We are working incredibly hard, both in terms of addressing knife crime, supported by specific legislation, but also targeting, addressing and disrupting youth crime.
So do you really think that the machete ban is working?
The machete ban saw some 18,000 aged weapons surrendered. that aren't available for people to use to commit crimes.
Detectives believe the victim knew his attackers, but the motive for the public assault remains under investigation. Police patrols will be ramped up across the dining precinct this weekend as detectives hunt for those responsible.
The family of a World War I hero is demanding an apology from Israel after the graves of almost 150 diggers were destroyed in Gaza. Alfred Cork's relatives want them restored and the cemeteries rebuilt.
I found that incredibly sad, that these young men who travelled the other side of the world and all of a sudden they're just obliterated. There's nothing there now to say that he was there.
We'll have more on Alfred's story and we'll hear from the man who has cared for the graves in 7 News at 6. Still to come in this edition of 7 News, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex wave goodbye after their quick and controversial tour down under. And Kevin Rudd finishes up as our ambassador to the US with an emotional message to Australia. That's next.
Australia's moves to save the environment coming at a deadly and destructive cost.
The Chinese are the criminals here, but we're also contributing to this man-made hell.
All New Spotlight, Sunday.
This is Jenna, the captain. No time for fevers and fuss. Thankfully, Panadol Children now also has a new Tutti Frutti flavour with a smooth formula that is easy to swallow and can start to reduce fever in just 15 minutes. Relief without the fuss. That's one for Panadol.
Can you believe I've saved nearly 50%?
And I saved 40.
Love it.
Brands you'll love at prices you'll love even more. TK Maxx. Big brands, small prices.
Deposit offer? Don't mind if I do.
Hunt with the all-new Ladbrokes app and claim your 100% deposit match. Head to the promotions page and tap Claim Now to activate. Ladbrokes. You deposit, we match. You win some, you lose more.
Oh, hey, hon, can you pass that?
She'll love it.
One tool could be the start of something so much bigger. Ryobi, come equipped.
My mum likes hearts. She always likes beautiful things. You are my heart. I love you, Mum. Happy Mother's Day.
They call this the lucky country. Trouble is, there's only so much luck to go round.
That's a cow.
When the lucky country isn't so lucky.
Lucky you're with Amy.
We all want financial security to be able to weather the uncertain times. Invest in La Trobe Financial's multi-award-winning 12-month investment account with income paid monthly.
Hurt can happen here, here, and here. If you've been injured in a public place, take the Slater & Gordon free claim check, and we'll take it from here.
A 17-year-old boy has been charged over the death of a pedestrian in Brisbane. Police allege he was behind the wheel when a car hit and killed the 38-year-old man at a Shorncliffe car park around 8 last night. Investigators are asking anyone who saw the black Ford Focus around that time to contact them. Kevin Rudd has formally finished up as Australia's ambassador to the US, the former Prime Minister posting this farewell message to social media.
Serving Australia, the nation and its people, is a privilege. Australia is a good country. The Australian people are a good people. So, my fellow Australians, goodbye, good luck, Godspeed, advance Australia.
Former Defence Secretary Greg Moriarty will replace him. After 4 days of smiles and just a few snarls, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex have wound up their Australian tour and are this afternoon headed home to the US. Harry and Meghan taking their seats alongside other passengers on a commercial Qantas flight which departed Sydney earlier today. Emily Francis has more.
Well, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex's whirlwind visit has now come to an end, and while it wasn't an official royal tour, it certainly felt very regal. The couple bid farewell to Coogee Beach on their way to the airport this morning, giving us a royal wave send-off after a packed final night. They were the special guests at last night's Super Rugby match, watching the Waratahs bring home the win alongside industry giants.
It's a great honour to host Harry and Meghan at the rugby, and clearly Harry's got a long history with rugby.
Earlier, the Duchess was the headline at a women's wellness retreat at the Intercontinental Hotel in Coogee, but only made a very brief appearance after a day with doting fans against some of the city's most iconic backdrops.
The reception inside the venues was significant. Outside, there weren't too many people, and that's in stark contrast to 2018. But overall, I think they'll be looking at this as mission accomplished.
Less than 48 hours here and a couple of days in Melbourne. There have been plenty of hugs, handshakes and selfies. For now, though, it's back to the States in the US, and we'll have more details on the Royals at 6.
And 7 News is looking inside the tour that's caused plenty of controversy. The 7 News special, Harry and Meghan, Victory or Vanity, will air on Sunday at 9 p.m. after Spotlight on 7 and 7+. Sport is next with Tom Sacre. Tom, a horror night for the Bulldogs in the AFL.
It absolutely was, Hugh. Good afternoon. 4 players went down with injury against Geelong, including one of their biggest stars who's out for the year. Coming up, a mega haul from Jeremy Cameron rubs salt in the Dogs' wounds. Plus, Nathan Cleary delivers again for Penrith, but it comes at a big cost.
Inside the operation down under to save their reputation. Victory or vanity? You decide. A 7 News special Sunday.
Tuesday, 7:30.
It's not our vibe. So that's a vibe for me. I want that vibe. I want that vibe.
They'll build a wall that will divide Australia.
Oh. I love it. I think the judges will say that.
This was a big risk. Yes. To do this was massive.
Yes.
This wall and this entire home could be yours.
I want that vibe.
New My Renault Rules starts Tuesday, 7:30.
What's better than one hot cheesy Domino's pizza? 2 of them. Buy 1 large pizza and score 50% off your second pizza delivered. That's double the cheese, double the toppings, big vibes every day, online only at Domino's.
Reversing's tricky.
Oh, no worries. You're with Budget Direct.
Moneybags Insurer of the Year. 9 years in a row.
We started with a $2,500, $3,000 credit card, and by the time we walked into my budget, it was $12,500.
And as soon as we found my budget and we found a way out of that, it hasn't been an issue for us at all.
Call my budget today.
Tripadeal's birthday sale is on now. Experience Hawaii, Tahiti and South Pacific cruise from $4,799. Relax in Honolulu, then sail through French Polynesia and more. Search Tripadeal now.
The in-laws are coming. This Saturday. Today is this Saturday.
I'm going to do the deck.
Get back on deck in just 40 minutes with Cabot's Easy Deck. Wood calls for Cabot's.
Great autumn deals? Your local steel dealer has you covered.
Popular entry-level petrol chainsaw, save $100. High-performance battery vacuum shredder, save $50.
Buy well. That's steel for life.
For over 90 years, care's been at the heart of GMHBA health insurance. That's why you'll pay no excess on same-day hospital procedures with all eligible GMHBA hospital covers.
Don't let your daily strides slow you down. New Caltrate Bone, Muscle and Joint is formulated to support not only your bone strength, but your muscle function and healthy joints that work together to support your everyday moves. Keep moving with Caltrate.
Essendon almost caused the upset of the AFL season as the Suns survived an almighty scare on the Gold Coast. It was a rollercoaster clash in stifling heat, and it was the Bombers who were red hot. They led by 12 points halfway through the third quarter before the Suns clicked into gear with a 5-goal burst.
Steps, salt some candy on Day Wicks, and that is just all class.
Essendon had their chances late but couldn't convert as Gold Coast held on by 9 points. Umpire Alex Wetton showed courage, bouncing back from a dislocated shoulder to run out the second half. It was a disastrous night for the Western Bulldogs in Geelong. Star forward Sam Darcy's season is over after suffering an ACL injury in their 75-point demolition by the Cats. Defenders Rory Lobb and James O'Donnell also down with hamstring injuries, while veteran Tom Liberatore was concussed.
Trying to process it on two fronts. The carnage that you're talking about, it's pretty traumatic.
Here comes Jezza. Geelong forward Jeremy Cameron had a night out, bagging a 10-goal haul. And the Swans weathered a near hour-long lightning delay to cruise to a 41-point win over the inaccurate Giants in the Sydney Derby. The Warriors are up to second on the NRL ladder, fending off a second-half fight back from the Titans to win 28-20 in Auckland today.
Fisher Harris, back to Aaron Clark, and there's the present. Sign the dotted line.
Last night, Nathan Cleary delivered again in Golden Point for Penrith against the Dolphins.
Cleary is poised. An unbelievable chase from Plath. This time Cleary nails it. He's done it again, the Iceman.
The Panthers won 23-22 in Darwin, but it was soured by a suspected broken leg to hooker Mitch Kenny. Cody Nicorima's facing a 2-game ban for a hip drop. The Storm have lost 5 games in a row for the first time in 14 years, slumping to a 26-22 defeat to the Raiders. Canberra's Hudson Young copped a 2-game ban for a high tackle on Sua Fa'alongo. The Waratahs overcame their own lightning delay to defeat Moana Pacifica in the Super Rugby. The Sussexes, Harry and Meghan, watched on at Allianz Stadium as rookie fullback Sid Harvey scored a double to seal the 29-14 win.
Floats it, Harvey's there, and Harvey has 2.
It's the Waratahs' last game against Moana Pacifica, who will exit Super Rugby at the end of the season. Matt Payne proved he's a serious supercars contender, taking out today's second race in Christchurch. The rest of the field was left trailing in the Kiwis' dust as he led from pole to win. It wasn't as straightforward for Payne in the morning race after a sloppy pit stop.
The wheel's gone. Lost a wheel. We knew it was a troublesome stop. The wheel, I've lost the wheel.
He finished 19th as Brodie Kostecki cruised to victory.
Leica has thousands of 5-star poo reviews. Switch to Fresh. Switch to Leica.
That stuff really worked.
For many Australians, home ownership feels far away. But now, there's a new way to own your own home, where the Australian government contributes up to 40% of the price of the home. So you have a smaller deposit and lower mortgage repayments. It's a pathway to home ownership backed by the Australian government. It's called the Help to Buy scheme, and it could help you too. For eligibility, visit firsthomebuyers.gov.au. Authorised by the Australian Government, Canberra. It's called the Help to Buy scheme, and it could help you too. For eligibility, visit firsthomebuyers.gov.au. Authorised by the Australian Government, Canberra.
Reversing's tricky.
Oh, no worries. You're with Budget Direct.
Moneybag's Insurer of the Year. 9 years in a row.
BHP has been called many things in their 140 years. The backbone and the big Australian are just two. They've never been about fanfare, just hard hats and hard work. The work that delivers the resources that make the future possible. Copper to keep the world connected, potash to help feed it, iron ore and coal to help build it. Because building what's next has always been what BHP does best.
Mornings fast and furious? Try Hungry Jack's new Angry Brekkie Wrap and Barista Made Cap. Spicy salsa, angry onions and a hash brown all wrapped up. New Angry Brekkie Wrap and Cap. Morning start at Hungry Jack's.
I did not put that music on there.
Glenn and Mick's Celebrity Intervention, Monday 7:30.
Go Harvey Norman hot deals on home appliances. Save big on fridges, washers, dishwashers and more. LG French door fridge with ice and water saves $700, now under $2,000. Westinghouse 7.5 kilo washer, now under $500. Best prices at Harvey Norman now.
Switch to AGL and unlock $200 in electricity bill credits and another $200 when you add internet. That's up to $400 in electricity bill credits. Switch today and join the change.
Face the World is resilience. It's grit, it's determination. My teammates for life. We face the world for them. Face the World with Cetaphil.
Pocket up to 70% back on extras like dental and optical. Subscribe to that meditation app. Become a mindfulness coach. That's potentially amazing. Join and get great value with NIB. NIB, potentially amazing.
If you're going up against the system for TAC or work cover compensation, speak to a lawyer who knows how to take it on and win. Arnold, Thomas and Becker. No win, no fee, no fear.
Get yourself some big deal energy during Domino's Big Deal Week with 50% off large premium and traditional pizzas. Yep, 50% off our very best pizzas. All week, pick up only. It's kind of a big deal at Domino's.
Half protection is not enough. Using just an antivirus online is also not enough. Get better protection from online threats. Get NordVPN now.
Beat the price rise! Australia's largest manufacturer of wood heaters and gas log fires must clear all heaters in stock. Beat the April price rise. Save thousands. Don't be left out in the cold this winter. Illusion and Ultimate. Illusionfires.com.au.
National weather now. Tropical moisture and an unstable air mass are causing wet weather over northern and western Queensland and the top end. A cold front is skimming the southeast, bringing a cool, dry change to Victoria, South Australia, New South Wales and southern Queensland. Taking a look at tomorrow's temperatures, Brisbane is expecting to reach 28 degrees with sunny conditions. Sunny too for Sydney, a top of 22. Melbourne mostly fine, 20 degrees. Perth mostly sunny and a top of 22 degrees. And that's 7 News for now. Our next bulletin is 7 News at 6. I'm Hugh Whitfeld. Thanks for your company. Have a great night.
The 7 News app will give you the news you want every minute of every day, including breaking news alerts. Download the 7 News app now.